Okay, it is worth mentioning that this video is not going to be talking about ads or anything like that. We're primarily going to be talking about your brand and short form content and long form content and how to use them to get more clients. It is also worth mentioning that you don't necessarily need to be posting content in order to be making a ton of money with info. I know a lot of guys who hardly post any content and they're cracking like 6-figure months. But you need to have something to replace the content, and so they use ads. But first, I want to talk about finding yourself. As funny as that sounds, as cliche as that sounds, and kind of getting into the idea of like sort of a self-actualization so that you can show up online as you show up in person. So let's get into it. Okay. Pillar 1 of your brand, authenticity. Like I said, as cliche as it might sound, to be authentic on camera and in your content and on social media and everything, you need to know yourself better than anybody else does. A lot of people look for this kind of stuff in the physical world, and while that might help, like a change of scenery or something like that, it's a lot of inner work in some self-actualization. And some self-realization stuff. So what you can do is just journal a bunch, just really get to know yourself. And a lot of times people don't understand how unique they are. And so when they're posting content, they show up just like everybody else does, and not how their personality is. And that's where people really connect with. And that's why authenticity is kind of hard to come up with for some people. I was in a meeting the other day and people were asking me, or I asked people like, what is authentic content? And they were like, storytelling, stuff like that. And I said, no, it's like authenticity is being authentic on camera and acting how you act on camera as you act in real life, and not having some sort of, like alter ego that you have in your videos versus in your real and personal life. That's not to say you should only be talking about what you talk about in your personal life. I don't really talk about this kind of stuff and content and info and things like that in my personal life, but I try and emulate the way I act on camera as I do with my friends. So it's almost as if I'm talking to a friend. In order to get your content to flow out of you in the most natural way possible, a few ways to think about it is how you act with the people you're most comfortable with. If you're funny, goofy, that should show up on camera. If and the format that you are doing should also emulate that as well. So I used to do like sit down script videos, and that's just not me. And my voice was very monotone, and I was just kind of just rambling on the camera, occasionally going off script, but it was just really, really bad. But now I can do these, and it's much easier for me because I like to speak off the cuff and ramble on and things like that. So whatever format you pick, make sure that it follows the way you act in real life as well. Now, finding yourself sometimes takes quite a long time. And like I said, some people search for it in the physical world, but it's almost like a spiritual journey where you have to do lots of self-critical thinking and talks with your ego and things like that. And I don't want you to think that you have to do that to start posting content. You don't even have to really do any self-actualization at all. You can just start posting for fun. Showing up authentically on camera happens when you know yourself and your content truly flows out of you and it feels like a natural extension of how you actually are. So as a better example, when I'm on camera, me talking to the camera just feels like it flows out of me, and it doesn't feel like I am forcing anything. Once you know, you know. That's the best way to put it. Now, once you know yourself, you can start to create this thing called the authentic character. And the authentic character comes from a lot of self-actualization and being consciously aware of yourself. And that is the whole point of finding yourself, so that you can become consciously aware. Think about it like this. Your character is the person that you show up on camera as. If you are just not being yourself on camera, you're just the character. If you're coming up as yourself on camera, then your authentic character shines through, and that's what you want to happen, because there's 3 pillars, and I'm going to get into them. Pillar 1 is authenticity, like we've been talking about, and you have to have every single one of them in order for your brand to show up and feel like it comes out of you, flows out of you, and so it becomes like what pillar 3 is going to be, effortless momentum. So in order to figure out your authentic character, you need to figure out who you are, what you do, and how you're seen. Actions, perception. These need to be self-actualized, so you need to know what these are in order to create your authentic character, okay? So in other words, people need to understand your actual self, not the person or the character that you think is going to get views. Let's get hot in here. Pillar 1, authenticity. Pillar 2, format. So a lot of this lies in the nature of who you are. So if you are boring and monotone, your colors are going to be muted and your sounds are going to be quiet, or your music is going to be soft. If you are eccentric and loud and crazy and colorful, your colors are going to be crazy. Your music is going to be loud. It's going to have lots of ups and downs. Your brand is just going to be a little bit more chaotic than someone who is a little bit more monotone. So format will always be different person to person. You will just know when you are doing the right format. So test a bunch of different things. Don't do it all at the same time. Test one thing at a time. So do a few different videos of a few different formats and really test it to see if it works for you, because you're not always going to know on the first try. This whiteboard stuff, like I said earlier, is my authentic format because I can show up naturally and talk to the camera without having to look at a script. It just feels natural to me, and I came from a feeling, and I knew that the feeling is good. You should be doing any format that you want, but make sure that your main vehicle is YouTube. YouTube has the highest nurture chance, because think about it like this. If you post a 10-minute long video, people on YouTube are very, very willing to watch a 10-minute long video. But people on Instagram, it's gonna take them a lot to watch 10 60-second long videos. So keep that in mind. Your YouTube should be your main vehicle, and short form will just add gas to the fire. If you're just doing short form now, YouTube will add gas to the fire. So whatever you're doing now, or if you add short form or long form to it, you're just gonna add gas to the fire. So keep that in mind. Also with long form, if you're absolutely ripping long form and you have a little bit of a following, you can start to clip up your long form pieces of content and make a second account called so-and-so business or talk with so-and-so. Iman has done that before, and just clip those pieces of content from your long form, put it onto that account, and you can start to create sort of a warm list where you say, hey, if you're running so-and-so business, if you're looking to get into fitness, if you have $50,000 ready to invest in crypto, go follow this account. I've got a ton of pieces of content on there that you can watch that's really digestible, and you can learn a lot of things from that. So you can kind of start to create a warm list of your leads, especially if your account is not fully optimized for your ICP, or if you changed your ICP or something like that. Just post on your story. You can do it a couple times a month. Go follow this account if you are interested in XYZ. Okay, with pillar 1 and pillar 2 perfectly aligned, authenticity and format, you arrive at this thing called effortless momentum. Kind of sounds like a Harry Potter spell. So this is when everything is aligned, everything is going smoothly, and you kind of get into a flow state with your content, where it's just like, all right, now it's the next thing, now it's the next thing, now it's the next thing. You don't really have to try when you're on camera. That was the first marker drop this entire time. The best way to describe it is when content doesn't feel like work anymore and it feels more like play. That's when you're in effortless momentum and you can show up really, really naturally because you're in the flow state. You're not thinking, you're just doing. Self 1 versus self 2. If you're interested in knowing what that is, go watch the Daniel video that I have. Okay, now that you have your brand, you've got your format, you've got your authenticity, you realize who you actually are, now it's time for the content funnel. And I'm gonna switch to a green marker because I want to. Content funnel. This is gonna be where we're making money. We're getting clients, we're bringing in eyes. So we're gonna start off with short form because it's short and small. So we've got top, middle, and bottom. A lot of times you'll see these as like TOF, top of funnel, MOF, or middle of funnel, and BOF, which is bottom of funnel. So top of funnel for short form is going to be your reels, trial reels, but I'll just do reels, and ads. But like I said, we're not going over ads in this video. So that's just vanity for now. This is where you are getting the eyes to your page. So hence ads, you're getting more eyes to your page. Reels are really, really good for that. If you've ever posted on Instagram before and looked at your analytics, you will see that it is most often non-followers who see your reels. That's where most people are on Instagram. There are quite a few feed users, but reels are where the majority of people are, and they're pushed out to non-followers, especially trial reels, right? Because trial reels are only shown to non-followers. With your trial reels, they are absolutely ripping right now, and they're free profile visit ads. So if you take one of your videos that has done very, very, very well in the past and change it up slightly, so maybe change the text on it, it's the same, like keep in mind it's the same piece of content, same video, but you change up the text, you change up the music, the reactions or whatever, it's going to do so much better on your account because Instagram will see that it's a different video, because they don't want people just spamming trial reels, because it doesn't really add anything to the environment or atmosphere of Instagrams, because you know you're posting one video and then this same exact video, the next time people are just going to see it and swipe and scroll, they're going to get kind of fatigued and then get off of Instagram. Whereas you post something different, but if you just change the text, it considers it to be different. So keep that in mind, right? Reels and ads. Middle of funnel is going to be your carousels. This is often overlooked, and it doesn't really need to be part of your ratio here. However, it does help a lot, right? Because you can just kind of get away with posting reels, and a lot of people do, but carousels help so much with the nurturing process, and people overlook it all the time. So you can also bypass this by posting long form content on YouTube. So carousels aren't the biggest thing in Instagram. But now we get to bottom of funnel, okay? So this is stories on Instagram, and this is a huge part of your content strategy, right? And sometimes people overlook this as well. Stories are where you make most of your money in info, okay? So for your stories content calendar, you need to have something that is repeatable, that can be done every single week, okay? So on Mondays, you want to do a client result and hard CTA. On Tuesday, provide value or show them why they have not achieved their goal. So show the viewer why they've not achieved their goal. On Wednesday, you want to do a personal story that inspires your audience. So, you know, going out for like a 6-mile run or something like that, or how you started your business in college in your dorm and you were staying up till 4 a.m. every night working on it or something like that. Thursday, a personal win. So you can post like a screenshot of a payment from a new client. On Friday, you want to do a soft CTA for people to DM you for a free resource. And on Saturday and Sunday, post whatever you want. So on Monday that's where you're going to make the most money. So that is your hard CTA and your client win. So you want to show people why they need to work with you. So let's say in the previous week, one of your clients got 1 million views on their video, or your average increase per wallet size or something like that for crypto had gone up by 20%. Some sort of win, or they got a payment or something like that, some win. And then you want to say, if you are looking to get started working with me and get XYZ result, then comment or DM me now and I'll send you more details. I'm looking for 3 to 5 people in November, or I'm looking for 3 to 5 people in December. If you're looking for people in November, you're gonna have to wait a whole year. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about Reels. So right now, what is absolutely going to kill is going to be making the viewer feel some sort of nostalgia. The way you do that is by making the video feel a little bit shitty. You don't want it to be so pristine and polished. And one of the reasons for that is AI. A lot of people are making AI content, or they're using AI to edit their videos or something like that. So if you can make the viewer feel some sort of nostalgia, like with a VHS camera, or colors, gradient, grains, film grains, and like fuzzy stuff on the filter, then you will make the viewer feel some sort of nostalgia, and they will most likely stay to watch the whole video. So keep that in mind. And physical, keep things physical. Drop the fucking Miro board shit. It is so overplayed and overused. It was nice while it lasted, but you need to move into more physical things. So if you absolutely need to use a Miro board, use a whiteboard instead. It's not that hard. It's a lot more fun too. It feels it feels fun. Or write in your journal and have a time lapse or something, or speed up the clips. So keep things physical and keep things real. People are going to start valuing that much more, and I'm going to say it now. People are going to love the VHS style content. The more you post, the better off you're going to be. Okay, so when you're first starting out, you want to have some sort of Venn diagram with YouTube and Instagram. When you're first starting out, people aren't really privy to both, so you can have two different types of content, and it's good for getting eyes and growing your brand, and not just clipping up your YouTube videos. Like for example, Daniel Dalen, a lot of his videos on Instagram are just clipped from his long form videos, or even long form videos that haven't been posted. You can do basically just YouTube. But when you're first starting out, it really benefits you to kind of get your brand going, to do both IG content and YouTube content, and have something in the middle. So right now I'm talking about info, and my Instagram is talking more about like self-development and philosophy and things like that. And there is a mix in there. There probably could be, or there is similarity in both, but there probably could be a little bit more. But I'm satisfied with how that looks. So for me, that's very important. You can capture two audiences that have very similar tastes, and it just kind of grows your brand faster. The idea is that you want to talk about things in the same but different topics. So philosophy and business, kind of in the same realm for a lot of people. So that's my ideology there. I want to talk more about stories because they absolutely rip for my clients. And they're strong because they give your audience a perceived sense of access, and creates a narrative into your world, right? If think about it like this, if you are just posting YouTube content, if you're just posting short form content, it's really, really polished in some ways. Like they only see the parts of you that you want them to see. With stories, it gives them better access to you, and it kind of starts to create the world around yourself. So it kind of creates, insert your name's world, or insert Jordan's world. So it's really, really strong for that, because you can show your flaws, your journey, your struggles, and your transformation. Like I said, with your personal wins or your inspiring story, like you went from just a wee little lad into a millionaire, or you went from just like a scrawny little fat kid or scrawny little kid in high school to like the biggest, most jacked guy at your school, or something like that. And that's really, really powerful for some people, and it creates a world and a narrative for them. Kind of ends up creating a parasocial relationship, which is not necessarily healthy, but it's really, really strong for creating connection. And you'll eventually see that through the time that you're creating content. And if you're making documentary style content, or if you're like making documentation style content, that parasocial relationship happens really, really fast. You can see with Daniel Dalen, all of his followers are very, very, I think that they're friends with him. And he does it really, really well, to be honest with you. So fair play to him. Also, close friends can bump your story to the front of the line. Close friends is a meta feature. So if you post a huge long array of stories and then you post one to your close friends, everybody in your close friends is going to see that story at the front of the storyline in the homepage. So yeah, you want to really kind of create that perceived access. So you want to do Q&A, second marker drop. Q&As, selfie-ish pictures. Not every time, but selfies work really well, because it's like, okay, this is actually him. He's actually in here. He's talking about his story. This is his struggle. So and kind of create something that people can connect to. And a lot of people our age are on were on Snapchat growing up. So unconsciously, it feels like you just received a Snapchat. And so people who really care are going to be watching your stories religiously. They will click on your story every time because you're posting interesting things. Your hottest leads will most likely be watching your stories and watching your YouTube videos. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Let's say you're posting consistent stories. So you get a new viewer on YouTube or IG and they like your content. So they follow you on IG. You're posting consistent stories. Like I said, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are free play. They become warm over time because you're doing this, and they're kind of creating that narrative, that world around you, because everybody creates a world for someone else. Like, think about one of your friends. You have a world for them. Like, you can think about what they're doing right now, where they are in the world, what they're doing, what their job is, what their hobbies are, and you can kind of create some sort of idea of, what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. They become warm, and on Monday they DM you, and then you get a sale. So it's very important. On the contrary, if that does not happen, let's say you aren't posting stories, so you aren't posting consistent stories. They don't become warm, and then boom, you miss out on a DM, on a sale. So it's very, very important that you use all assets, all parts of the marketing tools that you have access to in the top, middle, and bottom, because you can start to post carousels here and it will not make up for stories, because your reels and your stories, let's say you're setting up ManyChat, they should only be used for lead magnets into long form YouTube videos. So we'll get to that in just a second. Okay, YouTube, and I'm going red for YouTube. So your top of funnel YouTube videos are going to be things that really get attention. Clickable content, very watchable. So those are going to be things like, for example, Iman's top of funnel YouTube content is like 7 books to become a millionaire at 19. How I became a millionaire at 18. How you can use every book entrepreneurs need to become a millionaire. Things like that, right? So those are going to be things that kind of bring eyes into your page and make sure that everybody starts at the top of the funnel, because people who are your least qualified viewers are going to be top of funnel viewers. So they're going to watch everything that's top of funnel. So top of funnel equals clickable for many. Middle of funnel equals clickable for some. And bottom of funnel equals clickable for not so many. But that's where you make money. So your middle of funnel are going to be things where it's like the nurturing area. So top of funnel, the top of funnel is, or middle of funnel is nurturing, top of funnel is eyes. So middle of funnel is your nurturing section. So this is showing people your personality and that you know your shit. So a really good one is vlogs, and you can mix vlogs in with like pieces of content that build trust. So knowing your shit. So if you can like maybe split a vlog in half and then put at the end like a little training about what you were talking about during the vlog, or even a podcast. A podcast halfway through a vlog will rip. Like our podcast, really just two people talking. So this is clickable for some. So not everybody's going to be interested in what your life is what your life is doing. Not everyone's going to be interested in your day to day, or people you meet, or people you talk to, or things like that. But it will be clickable for some, and those people in the middle of funnel, quite a bit of touch points still to get to bottom of funnel. But I'm a firm believer that in your videos, you can have multiple touch points, especially on YouTube. Short form is much harder. You're probably gonna have one touch point per short form video, but for YouTube, you can have multiple touch points. So you can have a top of funnel touch point in a middle of funnel video. You can have a middle of funnel touch point in a top of funnel video. Same thing, bottom of funnel to middle of funnel. It's hard to do like top of funnel to bottom of funnel though. So anyways, bottom of funnel, clickable for not so many. So that means you are ask. That's where you're going to make money. So Iman's famous video where he made like $20 million from one YouTube video. It was his agency accelerator course, I think it was called. It was like grow your agency. He made $20 million from that. And that was literally just a VSL that he'd posted. And it's just a slideshow, basically. I think he had a little bit of a talking head, but he just went over slides. And he just posted it to YouTube, and boom, he made like 20 million bucks. So though that's a very good example of bottom of funnel. So it's clickable for some, but not so many. And this is really what people need to succeed. So like your video. So it's what people need to succeed from your video. So it can be like exact steps to do XYZ in time frame. So the best business model to start in 2025, or the best crypto strategy to make $1 million in 2026. The full 7-hour personal branding course that I give to my clients. So, things like that, where it's going to be kind of harder for people to watch, but it's value packed, and people get into some sort of value debt. It's a very important value debt. And then you can run ads to that in Instagram straight to the video. So just DM me or comment XYZ, and you can get the video that you're talking about. Typically on YouTube, you want to have a 3-2-1 kind of style. So 3 top of funnel, 2 middle of funnel, and 1 bottom of funnel. You can kind of skip around a bit. You don't need to post 3 top of funnel and then post 2 middle of funnel and 1 bottom of funnel. Just kind of have that general idea where you post 3. If you post 3 top of funnel, you need to post 1 bottom of funnel, things like that. So typically you'll want to do like in your CTAs here. So top of funnel, your CTAs are going to go to Instagram. So go follow me on Instagram or check out my businesses on this link. So you have like a link like jordanfranklin.com, jordan-franklin.com, by the way. So that'll take people to your IG. Your middle of funnel takes people to bottom of funnel. The description CTA would say, if you like this video, I have got a great video linked for you in the description, so go check it out. And then it's your bottom of funnel video. Then your bottom of funnel video has a CTA to book a call with you, or whatever your ask is. So go buy this product, or whatever it might be. Okay. I want to talk about formats for Instagram. People are really liking simplistic content, like not things that are just really, really polished, or you're in a studio, you can be in your office, like I'm in my office. Kind of make them more raw and easier to digest, so it's not like bang bong, bang bong, bang bong. The quicker you get to the point, the better, the more direct you are, especially when you're working with business owners. If you're working with consumers, it's a little bit different, but most of you are going to be working with business owners or like higher frequency people. So be more direct, be simple. Physical content like this, I think, is going to work really well in 2026, potentially in 2027 as well, but it's kind of hard to predict that. But like I said, it does depend on who you're talking to. However, generally simple is going to be better and golden for you. So in terms of styles and formats for YouTube, you're going to want to do something that is easily repeatable for yourself, without burning out. And that is person to person. So there's some people who just love making movies, who can do them all the time. Like every single week they can put out a new movie or, short film. And in some cases, if your ICP is more business related, like Hormozy, Charlie Morgan, or, even me, you can be super, super direct. Now, if you're primarily targeting like B2C, your stuff is going to be need to be a little bit more polished. Or like higher production quality, similar to like clothing brands. A very good example of this is Marshall Cruz. Third one, damn it. Is like Marshall Cruz. He makes like these short films for Tamed Psychotic, but his Instagram, he uses it like a nurturing tool, like really, really well. His own personal Instagram constantly talks about what's going on at the business and things like that. So it's very, very ICP related. If you're working with business owners, you're going to want to be more direct. If you're working with consumers, you're going to want to be a little bit more polished. Okay, real quickly, content systems for info, because it's not too hard. So you're going to want to use things like Notion, Rose, and Frame. You're going to want an editor as well. You're not going to want to edit your own content. Notion will keep all of your brand assets and SOPs and things like that. For Rose is an analytical tool, so you can see what's working well on your account all in one spot, and you can just take so much data at a time, and it's like $8 a month. So super, super worth it to look into. Then for Frame, especially for long form, it's really, really good because you can leave notes at specific time frames and you don't have to go in and check it out. So Frame.io is going to be perfect for working with an editor. I want to say that it's really, really hard to run an info business that's posting content consistently without an operator. Otherwise, you're just like taking every single portion of the business on a loan, especially content. If you're trying to post content consistently, it is very, very tough. I don't think that people can be creator founders like they say. They're either a creator or they're a founder. It's very, very hard to be both. So for you guys, for info businesses, key hires are going to be editors, creative directors, quality operators, and I would almost always say do not hire a copywriter or strategist. Write your own copy and then have someone help you with it. Don't rely on copywriters and strategists alone, because they're not going to get your story unless they're like really, really close to you. So have a creative director. Creative directors are typically supposed to be very close to you. And if you find a very, very good one, give them equity. Equity is huge with creative directors because you don't want them to leave. It's very hard to find good ones. So don't be afraid to just dish them a little bit of equity so that they stick around and they feel like they have a play in the game, because they can really change the way your business runs and just grow it exponentially if you have a very good one. Sweatshirt back on. Alrighty, reverse engineering your outcomes. So you want to make different content for different reasons. There is a guy who is, I can't even remember his name, but he's an Austrian builder, contractor, who is posting vlog content. And he is making vlog content and showing, what it's like to work with him and things like that. So he's making hiring content and also investment content. So, okay, his name is Hubert Romberg of Romberg Construction. And he's posting vlogs, which is crazy because he's a construction company. There's no construction companies who are doing that. So he's posting vlogs because I'm sure he wants to bring in better talent and also investment opportunities. So he wants to show the vision and the growth opportunities that Romberg Construction has. And they're all over Europe, I'm pretty sure. Maybe primarily in like Italy, Austria, Croatia, those countries, and like Switzerland. But I believe they're all over Europe. I think I've seen their signs before. But anyways, he's posting primarily these types of content because he wants to show the vision and get investment, show what it's like working with him, and get top talent, okay? You can also do clients and community. Now, I could be wrong with Hubert. He could just want to be very famous. But I'm pretty certain that he wants investment opportunities. Now for you guys, this is what matters with clients. So you're going to want to show that you know what you are talking about. So make content that showcases your expertise. Or if you're trying to build a community, you want to show that you're cool, you've got good ideas, things are constantly happening around you, cool people are hanging out around you, and you can start to build a community of people who are like-minded with you. You can also create like a free WAP or Discord or school or something like that, and that really helps out there. But for hiring, yeah, you want to show what it's like to work with you. So clients, which is really big for you guys, even hiring. So show that you know what you're talking about, and then hiring, show what it's like to work with you. And if you're fast-paced and intense like an Elon Musk kind of guy, you want to make sure that is shining through in your content. If you're chill and you're like whatever, 10K a month, that's fine for me, then you want to make sure that comes through in your content so that people know what it's like when they go to apply for your position. Okay, if you have all of this stuff in place, all of the things that we talked about in place, then the likelihood of you scaling with your personal brand is going to be very, very high, and it will continue to grow as you continue to refine your content. And as per usual, guys, if you want my notes in my notebook here that I've taken for this video, then go to my page and DM me the word PB notes, and I'll send you everything that I've taken from this video. And if you enjoyed this video, I have left another one in the description for you to check out, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.